Well, this video is going to piss off a lot of people. Mostly guys, probably. But anyway, I don't care. I have never been a people pleaser, and pleasing some guys who are strangers that I don't even know of with my content is the least of my interest. This video is for ladies, for the girls. Why? Because I am truthfully sick and tired of seeing left, right and center how life pans out for women who have been victims of very destructive narrative that women should make life choices of a partner based on whether he has a good heart. And let me tell you why, let me explain you why this is very dangerous. You know, my father used to be a cardiac surgeon. Obviously, for him, that was the end goal and the only criteria that he cares in a man. But unless you are not doing the same job, you should look for far more in a man than just a good heart. Unfortunately, in many cultures, women are programmed to want a little, to want less and to be less. Unfortunately, this programming happens mostly by other women who are their caregivers, caretaker, their parents, the women in their families. Why? It often happens when those women, they were brought up in unhealthy, toxic environments and end up, as a result of that, in a toxic relationships themselves. So they suffer because of men that they are surrounded with, and in the attempt of protecting their daughters from repeating that, they are telling them, don't look at anything else, it's the most important that he has a good heart, thinking naively that if the daughter looks for in a guy for this one factor only, that will spare her miserable life with him in the future, which unfortunately is quite opposite. Because what those women do, in a good will of course, teaching their daughters to look at good heart only, hoping that will spare any other issues, is teaching them to discard any other expectations and standards and justify shortcomings in those other areas of life which are crucial, vital and very important, just because he has a good heart, hoping that it means he will be good to her. Let me tell you, it's not the case and it's not gonna happen. And let me tell you why in a moment. Good heart in a man should not be the end goal. Good heart in a guy should not be your only criteria, should not be deciding factor. This should be what it is, a bare minimum, a bare criteria that he needs to fulfill to even be considered by you. It's like a password, a bare minimum password that he needs to have to even get access to you. Without that, there's not even talking. Like, if you don't have a good heart, if you are not a kind person, if you are not a good, caring guy with whom I can feel safe with and loved by, what are you even doing here? Do you think I would even talk to you? Do you think I would even proceed any further beyond that? No, this should be a bare minimum, not an end goal, not the only thing, and not the most important characteristic and feature of him, that he has a good heart. What does it even mean, you know? What I mean in this video, which probably some guys would try to distort, to devalue everything I'm talking about, to make girls to still follow this toxic mentality and way of thinking that good heart in a man is the end of it all and the only thing you should look for. I don't say that good heart doesn't matter. I say that this is not everything. That's a starting point. That's not the end goal, and that's bare minimum. And there's far more beyond that you should look for in a man. So the title of this video should be more like, don't marry a guy for his good heart only. As I said before, this narration comes from women who try to protect their daughter from repeating miseries in their relationships, and they think that choosing a guy with a good heart will spare them that. If that's the only criteria you go for, your life will be miserable with the good-hearted guy anyway, and let me tell you why. The other criteria that are vital for happy, easy life and easygoing marriage, and that's what we all want, is for a guy to be fulfilled as well. If he's not fulfilled, if he's not successful, if he's not able to provide for the family, he will not get the respect from the society that guys want. Guys care about this type of things, and then he will become bitter and he will take it out on you most of the time. Even disregarding that reason for good heart not being the only importance, think of yourself, what you want in life. You know, just the fact that he has a good heart is not enough. You need to think of your future. You need to know if the guy will have a good job. If he has a good job, if he's able to provide for you in the future, for you and the family. I'm not saying that you can't provide for yourself. That's totally up to you. But the guy is supposed to be able to do it. Whether he's educated, whether he takes care of himself, you know, whether he's educated, what type of circle he hangs out with, because those is the future of you and your family. If he hangs out in the circles that are far below of what you represent with yourself, imagine that those will be circles that your children will be hanging out in the future. And you don't want that. Never level down, always level up. Always. Because when you meet someone, they try to show themselves at their best. If their best is bare minimum, it will only get lower from that. It will only get worse from that. Never let anyone to shame you for having standards and expectations. Once I went on a date with the guy and he said, "Oh, so you have expectations." Bro, you can be my bro from now on only. I mean, not even that. Of course I have expectations. Who do you think I am? Obviously I have expectations. I didn't work on myself all my life in every aspect of my life, whether it's education, finances, life experience, the way I look, everything, to settle for someone and for no expectations. You must be out of your mind completely. A long time ago, many years ago, right after my divorce, shortly I was dating a guy who tried, I was not in a good state of mind at the time, and I happened to date a guy who tricked me with his good heart in the beginning. You know, he had a good heart. And then when I started wanting more, he was trying to bully me into thinking that it will only get me in trouble in life if I want more, because the guy who's here, he will take advantage of me, he will, you know, this type of toxic mechanism and toxic tools that guys sometimes use to put you in the state of mind of fear and stay with them despite their drawbacks and shortcomings. Guess where this guy belongs now? He belongs to the past. And guess who I married now? Someone who ticks all the boxes that I ever had for a guy who's young, handsome, good looking, educated, well-mannered, successful, achieved, ambitious, takes great care of me, is loving, caring, and so much more. The moral of this story is: have standards, have expectations. Don't let anyone to convince you otherwise, whether it's your family members, sometimes it can be the case, whether it's the guys that you are dating. Every guy who in the beginning of the dating or even later on in the dating shows you that he's bare minimum type of guy, believe him, trust him. He's speaking the truth. He's just showing you who he is, and you better believe him. Don't convince yourself otherwise. Don't trick, or like, oh, he has a good heart, he can't do this. Honestly, I met a girl who, not only one, unfortunately, I met a couple of girls who are with completely useless guys. They have nothing to offer in a relationship. In fact, they are just a burden to the relationship, and these girls, due to their insecurities, they stay with them because they don't believe they deserve any better than this. And then they say, but he has a good heart. Bullshit. If he had a good heart, he would put an effort to make you happy. He would put an effort to self-growth and development. He would put an effort to find a better job, or job at all if he doesn't have one. He would put an effort into self-development. He would take an effort to take a good care of himself. If he doesn't do anything, he doesn't have a good heart. He's just using this as an excuse to silence you up and settle for bare minimum. Anyway, having that said, as long as you're not a cardiac surgeon as my father was, look for so much more as just a good heart in a guy, and don't settle for bare minimum, because you deserve the world. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.